Hey, good evening, folks, and welcome to another show of Let's Go Fishing. Got Mike here with me tonight. He's going to be my right-hand man here again. So, Mike, glad to have you with me.
Good to be back over again.
Good to be back over again. Well, he's really tickled to death. You can tell that, can't you? Hey, Lord, I tell you, I couldn't make it without Mike. Folks, a couple of quick announcements, and right here, talked to our sponsors through this week, and they all wanted me to convey to you all have a safe and happy Thanksgiving, and I wanted to do that for the sponsors, and I appreciate them and appreciate all of you. Tonight's show, I had a pretty good fishing trip Saturday night. Brad Lockett and I went to Norris, and I got in such a hurry coming in from work to get ready to go, try to beat darkness up there, which we didn't do. And I had a little foul up. I had the cameras with me, and I left my lights at home to where, give light to that mini cam, and so I didn't get to use it. Well, we had old reliable there, and sure enough, it let us down about 3 or 4 hours into the night. Why, it detected some moisture, and we didn't get much film. Got about 6 or 7 minutes worth, and but anyway, we're going to show that and that kind of thing. And another thing I wanted to tell you right quick. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving, so we're going to show a rerun. Won't be here next Thursday, and I'm hoping you all will be watching after you've sat down and had a good meal and that kind of thing, and we'll get to watch the show. So we're going to try to pick a good one and show you a rerun. They're going to be closed here at the studio, but it goes on replay, so that's no problem. We'll just have to decide what show we're going to play, Mike. I don't want to show you crappie fishing back in January,
It's coming on, though.
Yeah, it's coming on. Okay, well, we may have to show that just to get you warmed up, you reckon? Yeah. He'll be ready to go there Friday morning, I guarantee you, folks. But I got Billy Rice with Citizens First Bank. We're going to show that little interview I did back in the summer with Billy, and then we're going to show the fishing film. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit about what we call our fish on up there and what's going on up at Norris right now. I think you might be interested in that. And then we'll have some other announcements and some tips and take some phone calls. We had a good show last week. I thought Glenn brought out some good things, good points for our boats and this, that, and the other. He done a great job on that. I appreciate him. I've talked to Glenn this week, and he was just thrilled. He's had a lot of people come into his shop down there and talk about how things went. I'm looking forward to hearing from Jim Williams tonight. Jim's got some, he was trying to come up with a special sale for Friday, folks. So if you're, stay tuned. I'm hoping Jim will be the first caller here in a little while when we turn the phones on. He was still thinking about how to do it when I left him over there Wednesday night? Tuesday night when I left his shop. He was still figuring out how he wanted to do it, so I'm hoping he'll call in and let us know that. I tried to call him earlier and he was busy, so maybe Jim will call in. Herschel, go ahead and let's show the Citizens First Bank. Hey, hello, folks. I'm here with the gentleman to my left. He's the CEO of Citizens First Bank, and his name is Billy Rice. Mr. Rice, glad to have you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to call you Billy.
That'll be fine.
All right, Billy. Glad to have you. They are a sponsor of the Let's Go Fishing Show. As a matter of fact, folks, they're a featured sponsor this week, and I finally got Billy cornered, and he agreed to come by here and do this for us and tell us about the bank, and I'm just going to turn it over to Billy and let him tell you all about Citizens First Bank. And like I say, they are a sponsor of the Let's Go Fishing Show. Billy, tell us about the bank.
Thank you, Steve. Citizens First Bank, I think most people know I started the bank, me and Sam Hull. We left Union Planters and started Citizens First Bank, and 1996, started selling stock and sold stock to all the local people, local community, and we opened the doors February of 1997. So Citizens First Bank is a community, locally owned, locally operated bank. We started out with 2 offices in Wartburg and Oliver Springs, and then of course the bank grew. We opened an office in Oneida in 2004, and then in 2008 we opened offices in Oak Ridge and Harriman.
All right.
Yeah. And of course the bank is run by local people. All the board of directors are local people that live in Morgan, Roane, Scott, and Anderson County, where the bank is located. So all the decisions are made locally, and it's a community home-owned bank.
Well, boy, you know, that sounds good. When I got you all as my sponsor, and Billy, I'll just tell you, I know you live out there. You probably have to stream it on your smartphone or whatever, but that was the first thing we said. We wanted to deal with local people. And you know, I know you all were, and I was tickled to death to get you as one of my sponsors. I can't tell you how much that means. And you people, you know, we've talked about this time and time again. Go by, give them a chance to earn your business, and still say the same thing. And I appreciate Billy coming by and telling us about the bank. And I know he's got some more information. Go ahead, tell us all about it.
Citizens First Bank, you know, we may be a community bank located here in Morgan, Roane, and Scott, and Anderson County, but we can do anything that the big banks can do. We make all types of loans: commercial loans, consumer loans, real estate loans, fixed rate loans, any type of lending need the community has, we're there to serve it. All of our deposit accounts, we have new innovative deposit accounts that you can access your accounts 24 hours a day by internet, by your mobile telephone even. You can pull your account up on your telephone, transfer money. So we're a very modern, up-to-date bank. Our main goal is to serve the local community. We participate in everything we can in the community. We help all the schools. You know, the bank is, we consider it a citizen of the community that we serve, and that's what we want to be, is a good citizen of the community. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to and agreed to sponsor your show, because you're a local man, and I know a lot of people in the area that fish.
Yes, sir.
That used to be one of my favorite pastimes before I got so busy. But we consider this and high school sports. You know, we do our advertising. We're not on TV a lot, but we're helping local people in our advertising.
Well, yeah, I can't say that enough, Billy. I really appreciate it, and I know you all do a lot of things locally, and that's, you know, that's what we're all about. It's all about local and fishing and that kind of thing, and so we got a lot of water available to us and a lot of resources, and you all spread out with your 5 branches.
Yes, sir.
You know, if I had 5 good branches to fish at, I'd probably do a little better.
There you go. That's why I'm doing so well. I have 5 good branches.
There you go.
But you only live once, and you got to enjoy life. And we try to treat people. We treat everybody the same. You know, it doesn't matter if you're a customer that has a lot of money in the bank, or you're somebody coming needs to borrow money. We try to treat everybody with quality service. And my door is always open at the bank to anybody that wants to come in and see me. I'm there to serve.
Well, that sounds good. You know, us fishermen, we like to, every now and then we trade up. You
That's
know,
right.
we kind of have to finance
We finance those boats. Gladly finance them boats.
Yeah, well, that sounds good.
And you know, like they say on TV, I see these credit unions advertising and everything. I think Citizens First Bank is much better than any credit union you'll ever deal with.
Well, you've had my business for a pretty good while.
Yep.
Let me say that. You know, I can't say enough about them, folks. I deal with the Oliver Springs branch and have been for years, and I was just tickled to death to pick them up as a sponsor, and And you know, I wanted you to get the story from the man himself, and you know, tell about the business, how it got started, and all that good stuff. And you know, you need to just drop by, visit one of their your local branch of Citizens First Bank, and give them a chance to earn your business.
That's right. So, Steve, I appreciate your time.
Buddy, I appreciate
Spotlight in
you.
the bank.
I really appreciate you and your business. You don't know how much, and thank you much.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, folks, we're back, and we're going to give Herschel a minute or two to get the fishing film going. Like I said, you know, we had a lot of things going on up there at North. Water went down quite a bit, and Mike, I think a man could have caught a boatload of them rockfish if he wanted to catch them.
Oh, yeah. Guaranteed.
They were breaking water quite regularly up there off the points and stuff, and the first fish I caught was one about 12, 15 pounds, and you know, we tried to stay away from them as much as we could, but they were definitely out there moving around there Saturday night, and you know, spinner bait. I'm speaking of a chartreuse and white, double-bladed, something you fish during the day, you know, type deal, and that kind of thing. I think he could have loaded the boat with them up there Saturday night.
Jerk bait, too.
A jerk bait would have been great. A crank bait. I mean, they were just breaking about anywhere, everywhere we went, just about it. So if you're wanting to catch them, I guess, but, you know, as the moon gets darker, they may not be doing as active as they were Saturday night. So, but anyway, we got a little bit of fishing film there, Brad and I did, before the camera went out on us, and we may get one more night trip in, Mike. If it warms up one night there in December, we might get to make a trip.
It don't snow.
If it don't snow, he said. All right. Herschel, go ahead and show us the film there. Hey folks, I'm up here at North, point 19. It's a little after 8, and the moon's up, moon's full, about 53 degrees. Probably might be our last night trip. Brad and I are going out here and try to find these smallmouth, and hope we can get on them and see what comes up. Remember our sponsors, gotta have them. Can't do without them. So do that, and we'll see if we can get some film tonight, and hope to see you next week. Ready? Mm-hmm. All right, folks. We've been here about 10 minutes now. I've done hooked into one of them rockfish. And he's run off about 50 yards of line. He's coming back around on the other side now, Brad. Oh, there he goes again. Got it. I hope we don't have to fight them things all night. Yeah. That. Let's see if I can get him up here, Brad. Just one of them 15, 18 pounders. You might just weigh 12. Don't break my line. That's my line off there, little thing. Alright. All I want's my bait. Back here. Oh boy. Alright. I said we was going to start using the dip net. I'm going to open his mouth up, Brad.
him then.
Okay, let's try for something else. That's what we're looking for, right there. Yeah, man, right through the nose. All right. Boy, it's bad looking. Okay. Alright, folks, Brad's got a pretty good fish on here now. Yeah, Brad. That's a nice one. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, man. That's a chunk. That's a chunk, too. Sure is. Boy. Yeah, that's good. All right. Okay, back in the water, folks. Get after another. Here you come. Man, so small. Whoa, come here now, buddy. Right up here. Another one of them chunks, Brad. It's like a football. Boy. All right. Okay, let's get another. I think we might have been in one. All right, Brad's got another good fish on here, folks. And a boy, Brad. Oh yeah, yeah, that's one of them 19 inches right there, ain't it?
It's my heart is that big.
Yeah.
It jumped in the boat though.
Another good chunk. That's 5 fish we caught off the same point, folks. Alright, Brad, I've got a pretty good fish on here, but don't lose it. Alright. Man, you won't get ferocious there, Brad.
Yep. Okay, folks, that was the end of it. The camera died on us, so we'll go from there. Right quick, Mike, I want to say hello to Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that. He'll be mad.
Yeah.
You know,
All right.
we don't want him mad for sure. Me and you have to handle him then. Hello, Dad. And folks, I forgot to do that, and I wanted to make sure I got that in. Right quick, Mike, we're going to talk about what we caught those fish on up there the other night. And we did catch the first 5. Well, rockfish, I'm not even going to count them. But the first 5 smallmouth we caught were all off the same point. You know, we fished that point out, I don't know, probably 50, 75, maybe 100 yards from where we started. But within that 50, 75 yard span there, I guess we caught those 5 fish. 2 of them were real close together. And the other 3 we just kind of picked them off around through there. Probably should have went back through it again, but anyway, we went to another place and caught some fish. When we found fish, and we fished 3 or 4 good places that we didn't get a fish.
Yeah.
So They weren't everywhere, but they were there, and I kept the boat setting in 22 to 24 feet. Most of the bites came in that 18 to 20 foot range, seemed like. Now, we did take off down the river towards Stardust and fish some places down through there, and on the steeper banks, the fish were right up on the bank. But, you know, heck, you're sitting in 40, 60 foot of water, Mike, and that kind of thing.
I guess you had to go down and get out of the wind or something.
Well, that was exactly the purpose. We couldn't fish what we wanted to fish there in the Lewiston Sea area because the wind was coming straight out of the north, and in time it got down there to the boat ramp, it was pretty rough. So we headed down the river and you know, got on those bluff banks down through there, and like I said, you know, when you throw your bait out there, folks, on those steep banks, a lot of times it may go 10, 12, 15 foot before it sets on a ledge and hits the bottom, so makes you think the fish are right up on the bank. But anyway, we did catch some fish down through there. We didn't get to get them on film, and I hate that, but we were throwing the higher jigs, Mike. You know, you can tell them what we was fishing. You know what we was fishing. You wasn't even with us.
Yeah.
We caught them on the higher jigs and a few on the rubber jig, the watermelon, and that kind of thing. Now, I had a few of Paul Harris's jigs, Mike, that's real close to a watermelon, and that's what I was throwing. And Brad was throwing the ninny fly, yeah, in the watermelon. You know, what we call I guess the medium watermelon color, but and we caught some on brown and orange. The Scotty Mayfield chocolate brown with a little bit of orange in it, and then I was throwing the a brown deer tail fly with a little bit of orange backed up in it. So that's kind of what we were catching our fish on, and that kind of thing. So just wanted to pass that along to you. You know, things change up there in the daylight. You know, it just, when that moon comes out, folks, and you know, Norris has been really clear this year because all the rain we had back earlier in the year, and because them pulling the water, they you know, they've been dropping that water or pulling that water up there about all year long, just to keep it out of the woods, Mike.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And so it clears up fast, and it's been clear, and it's still clear now. I mean, it's pretty dang clear up there. So, you know, that's had an effect on things up there. So it kind of changed up a little bit. But, you know, be glad to give you some more information on that, you know, as the night goes on. I'm going to run through a few things here right quick. The photo of the month. I have not received a photo on my email address so far this month, and you know, we're into the third show of the month. Next week will be a rerun. So you know, if you're interested in getting in on this photo thing, you better get it to me pretty quick so we can get you a T-shirt. But I have not received one. Mike, you haven't even caught a fish and took a photo of it either, have you?
No.
That's what I thought.
Worth taking a picture of.
Well, okay then. I can't blame the audience if my supporters don't even do it. So what are we gonna do? I'm just aggravating Mike, folks. But do get me a photo of the month in, and I've got the two that I saved last month, and the one of Mr. Harness the month before, and I've got an album set up there at home, and I'm trying to keep them all. So get that to me so we can get you a T-shirt. And then last week, or week before last, we had a guy question. You know, I asked anybody if they knew a taxidermist to call in. Well, I found out. I got one. A guy called me last night and gave me Lowell Watts' phone number. Lowell, Lowell's a fisherman, and I didn't know he was into this, but he is. He's mountain fish, and I'm gonna give you his phone number in case you need one. And it's 865-466-0861. and Laurel's there in Rockwood. So if you're down that way, or if you need this number, don't get it, call me here after a while after the show, and I'll give it to you again. But Laurel's into that kind of business. He's the only one I've heard of. So if somebody's got someone else they want to recommend, give me a shout, and we'll mention it on the air too. Let's see. December the 5th. I'm going to tell y'all what I done Saturday afternoon before I went fishing. I've been talking about the East Tennessee catfish angler, Mike, and I'm glad Mike was there to witness this, because anyway, I went down there. I left work. As soon as I got off work, I drove straight to Caney Creek, and they were down there. A couple of them had already weighed in, and Mike was there. He'd been down there fishing that Caney Creek tournament Saturday, and he was there waiting on me. Anyway, I grabbed the camera, run down to the next to the lake there on the boat ramp where they were at, folks, and Mike said, "What was it about the wheelbarrow, Mike?"
That's the first time I've ever seen them have to have a wheelbarrow to haul their fish in.
Well, anyway, there they were with these, these lawn buggies, the plastic kind that you would, use to clean up around the yard with, and they had these they were throwing these catfish out of the live bait well, or their live wells, and into these wheelbarrows to get them down there to the scales. And I'm going to tell you what, I didn't show that film. I've got some good film on that, and I wouldn't show it tonight. And the reason why is Marty Carpenter is going to be the guest on December the 5th. And I didn't want to spoil that. I want him to be here when we show that. And he's the president of that club. And I met a bunch of good people down there, and got them on camera, some of them, and some of their boats, and this, that, and the other. And I'm going to tell you, folks, those guys are serious business.
Yeah, they got some boats, too.
They've got some boats. Now, we us bass fishermen, 20-foot boats, pretty good-sized boat, but now they're up there in that 24 and 25, 26-foot range. Some of them sporting around those 28-foot pontoon boats. Yeah. And, electronics everywhere, rod holders everywhere. I'm just not going to say any more about it, but I want you all to make sure that December the 5th, you're in front of the TV and watching that show, because it's see that film. They're serious about the catfish.
No doubt about that.
80-pound line, 8-ounce sinkers. These guys, and their baits are 12, 14-inch fish. I mean, they don't play. They're not playing around. They're after it seriously. So, and they're looking for some more members. And Mike, I may have to join up.
Hey,
I mean, they got them. Like you said, they use wheelbarrow to get the fish to the scale. So that ought to tell you something. So I'm gonna go on to something else and not say any more about that. I wanted to bring up the tackle box tip, since I didn't get to do one last week that I remember. Mike, I've got two things I want to talk about during that, and I'm going to give this one to you, and you can follow up on it.
Yeah. Spare tips for your rod in case you break one off, and the glue to put it on with, and that glue comes in handy for more than just putting tips on. Glued sinkers on the bottom of crankbaits to get them down deeper. I've glued rattlers on the jigs, and several other things that I've used that glue to stick things on with. So it's an awful good pack to have right there and carry with you, because you never know when you're going to knock a tip off.
Yeah, I'll add to a little bit about that. Rick Whitson had them grandsons of his out out fishing a couple of weeks ago, and where they were winding the floaters and the sinkers and the baits up into the tips of the rod. Mm-hmm. They had broke the ceramic out in the eye, and this rod tip right here, if you're not careful, you'll crack it. It's real, you know. It's ceramic. It's just hard as steel, and it doesn't. It's kind of fragile like an eggshell, but you know, when it comes to beating around on it, it don't stand a whole lot, and you'll knock this ceramic piece out, or crack it, or break it, and it falls out, and then your line's running on the metal. Mm-hmm. And those boys had done that. Rick's grandsons had done that, and he got down there at the lake with them, and they were fishing, and next thing you know, their lines was all fuzzed up, and this, that, and the other, and he wound up changing 2 fishing lines, and he said before I realized what was going on, I'd done put a new line on the reels, and dadgum said it wasn't 10 minutes, it was the same thing again, and so I made them swap rods when I figured out what was going on. So this is a good little old kit, folks, to carry in your tackle box or in your boat, and because, like I said, you wind your bait, especially on a Carolina rig, Mike, or a crankbait. It pops up. You know, you got your rod tip down the water, and you don't see the bait coming, and you know, occasionally you'll break these things out, or break a tip off your rod, and you've got something there to fix with. You don't mess up a good fishing trip just because you had a little incident. Good little thing to carry around with you.
3 different sizes in there.
There's 3 different sizes in this one. I usually try to buy the biggest one and the biggest one to the next 3 down, and then they do make one for that's got 3 a little smaller in here, and you know, kind of look at your like the big ones for a heavy action rod, a flipping stick or something like that, and then it may not fit a flipping stick. You know, it may not be big enough. You may have to go to the tackle store and getting their single out items there and size up what you need. But general purpose, this right here is a good little old thing to carry around in your tackle box or in the boat. And like Mike said, that glue's good for a lot of other things. And but that comes back to that other tip I gave you a few weeks ago about the cigarette lighter. You may need to build a fire, and you may need to melt your glue with it. So good little thing. The next thing I want to talk about is your fire extinguisher. Now this is, you have to have this in your boat with TWRA to be legal. But the reason it was brought up at work today, and there were several stories shared of accidents out on the highway, this, that, and the other. I carry one in my truck, and the reason being, it was brought to me that people didn't know how to operate a fire extinguisher. Well, even on your boat, you know, read the directions. It tells you what to do, how to operate this thing, and you know, in the heat of the moment, you may get frustrated, panic a little bit, what have you. You know, when flames are coming up out of the back of your boat or out of your vehicle, you need to look the thing over, know how it operates, what you got to pull to release the trigger, get rid of this little ring here, and that's just keep it from getting set off accidentally. And you throw that away, and then it's ready. You know, mash the trigger down, it's ready to go. But Thanksgiving's coming on. Going to be cooking, Mike.
Yes.
Deep frying turkeys and that kind of thing, and so you know, well, if you don't have one at home and you got one in your boat, you might want to set it out there closer to the grill.
Well, everybody gets excited on things, even the ones that watched that NASCAR race there the Sunday, when that guy's car caught on fire and the guy come across the wall with the fire extinguisher and he couldn't figure out how to operate it when it blew out, and they thought it killed a half a dozen, but he's lucky nobody was hurt on it. But he wasn't used to operating a fire extinguisher and probably panicked a little bit, so they need to get familiar with them, that's for sure.
Well, it's true. You know, you don't want to wait till you really need to use the thing and then you have to get it and you don't know how to use it. What made me want to talk about this was my boss. One of his best friends was in a car accident, got hit head on, and he had 5 fire extinguishers in the bed of his work truck. And the person that run into this guy burned up because nobody couldn't figure out how to make them work. They grabbed 2 up out of the truck, couldn't get them to work, and the whole thing was they didn't pull the pin or break the seal here to release the trigger. And that was a shame. So, you know, like I said, take a minute, look the fire extinguisher over, and read the directions so that if you ever had to use it, you can. And just wanted to pass that along to you, being, you know, a lot of things was talked about today with fire extinguishers, and that was mentioned, and I thought it was a heck of a story and something to pass along to you. You know, your boat catches, they're smoking out the back, you know, I don't know, you know, what I'm going to do. I hope I never get in that situation. And that brings on another thing I wanted to mention to you. The water temperature, Mike's what, 53 degrees?
53, 54 is what I had the other day.
Okay. Remember, last year had a friend of ours about drowned, so, you know, it's time to put your life jacket on, folks. You got all them extra clothes on. If you've been like me, fishing in the warmer conditions without it, the water's got cold now, and you need to think about putting your life jacket on when you're fishing, and not just wear it when your boat's running, but keep it on while you're fishing in case you wind up in the water. All right, we're moving right along here. Got some Herschel. Go ahead and give us a little break there, and I'll get a drink of water. Are we still on, Herschel? There you go. Folks, I'm here at Edgemore Outdoors, and Jim's got these solar bat glasses, and you fishermen all know about that. So they're over $100 a pair, and he's got them right now for $30. And I'm looking at 3 different frame colors: the black, the white, and the camo. And I don't know what other colors he's got, but if you're interested in a good pair of glasses for fishing or hunting, whatever you like, you know, they're good sunglasses, that kind of thing, polarized. You know, come by here and see Jim, Edgemore Outdoors. Check these glasses out for stocking stuffers, you know, that kind of thing for your husband, ladies, be great. So come by Edgemore Outdoors and check the glasses out. See you Thursday night. Hey folks, I'm back still here at the Edgemore Outdoors, and Jim's got a cabinet full of Lew's reels, the bait casters and the spinning reels. Got 2 new models that's out, and you know, I've been sitting here playing with them, fooling with them, trying to decide on what to get. And if you're looking for some new reels, come by here and see Jim and look at this cabinet full he's got, and I'm sure you're going to find something you're going to like. So don't forget Edgemore Outdoors. Come by and see Jim on the glasses and the reels and that kind of thing, and he'll be more than glad to help you, I'm sure. Hope to see you Thursday night. Okay, folks, back to us, and we're back with you, and do go by and see old Jim there on that on the glasses and the reels and everything else. You know, like I said earlier, I'm waiting on Jim to call in and tell us what he's going to do. Herschel, go ahead and turn the phones on, and I'll be running over what's going on in the Heartland and the Catfish Tournament Trail, and and whatever else I can find here. We'll try to take a few phone calls. All right, thank you, Herschel. Watch Bar, Heartland, their next tournament down there is December the 7th. That's down there at the dam. Then we got the one at Caney Creek. They've got another tournament here on November the 30th. Mike, and I hear that 22 Pound won the one down there last Saturday.
That's what I heard too.
I haven't confirmed that, but that doesn't surprise me.
No.
It sounds like it's already started.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to go from now till June anyway. So, you know, getting them kind of weights, I don't know who won. I will try to find out, and we'll back up on that. I'd like to think me and you might win on November the 30th.
Might do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give it a shot anyway.
Yeah, you're going to have to come on with it, though. I can tell you that right now. Yeah. Shoot. You know, heck, I've got to have some help. I can't do it all.
I know it.
But anyway, they got one. Mike Ellis and those guys at Caney Creek are going to be fishing November the 30th. That's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And then they'll be back down there December the 14th and December the 28th, you know. So it's just going on, folks. I mean, they don't let up. They're kind of like them. I told Marty, I said, I'm glad to see these catfishermen. I said, I always thought us bass fishermen were the only crazy bunch around, but now we've got an equal. Yeah. I guarantee you. They're so, and man, I'm telling you, you folks are in for a treat December the 5th. Now, I guarantee you'll be wanting in on that, and I promise you, when you see what kind of fish these guys bring to the scales. And then we go to down Division 27 on Watts Bar. That's at the one at Tom Fuller Park. Their next tournament is December the 14th. They had one this past Saturday on the 16th. I don't know what one it. Haven't heard. I'll try to find out. But their next one will be December the 14th, which is about 3 weeks away on that one. And what I'm hearing is a lot of the guys from down there is coming to Caney Creek, and then vice versa. So they're a little bit off. Then on Point 19, their next tournament up there is December the 7th. They had one on November the 16th last Saturday. I don't know what one is. I'll try to find out from George on that. But anyway, their next one is December the 7th up there at North, so at Point 19. So remember those two tournaments. And then I also told you the catfish anglers have got a tournament at Fort Loudon on December the 7th. And Marty will be telling you more about that when he gets here with me on the 5th. So don't forget those things coming up right there for sure. A lot of stuff going on. Like I said, folks, fishing's just going to get better. Mike, I don't know what we're going to do about the crappie fishing.
Have to get some minnows and go after them is all I know.
Get some minnows and go after them. Yeah. Let's see, who was that telling me that guy I work with was down at Caney Creek this past Saturday, and he said he saw some boys catching some right there around the swimming area there in Caney Creek, folks. So on minnows, and don't know if they were using. He didn't say whether they're using floaters or tight lining or whatever. But anyway, you know, the crappies ought to be getting right. Mike, they ought to be coming in shallow and feeding, getting ready to feed up for the winter. So, you know, all your man needs to do is just go find them.
That's for sure. Get back this cold weather coming in, and everybody that's got a motor, if you're not putting it inside, you need to go out there and make sure you trim it down, drain all the water out of the foot so it don't freeze and bust. And you need to add something to the fuel, because me and Glenn was talking about that there last week when he was over here, that a lot of people don't run their boat all winter, and then springtime they got troubles with it because they didn't put no stay build in it, or didn't run the gas out of the carburetors, or You know, you can just hook up to it if you can, if you don't completely cover it up or something, and take it to the water or put muffs on it or whatever, but run it at least once a month for 15-20 minutes and kind of keep fresh gas in the carburetors and stuff on them. Try to help you. Well, you won't have so much trouble come springtime if you ain't going to do no fishing this winter.
That's a good point right there, Mike. It sure is. What he's talking about, folks, is, you know, you guys, you know, when you put your boat on the trailer and you trim your engine up, well, that casing there is not the oil, not the inside where the gears and bearings are at, but just outside there around your props, full of water. Probably hold a gallon, maybe 2 gallons of water. And whenever you know, drop this, if you're leaving it outside, you need to trim that thing down, let that water run out of it, then put it on your motor toter or what have you, if you're going to let it sit outside. So
several of them froze up and busted because they leave it trimmed up and it rains it full, and then it freezes and busts the casing on them. So.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good tip, Mike. Sure is. So that's just something to think about, guys. When you put your boat on the trailer, yeah, in this cold weather for sure, and that kind of thing. You know, you sure don't want to mess the foot up with something like that for sure. Let's see. What you guys were talking about something else, Mike? That was a good. Glenn brought out some good points there the other night when he was over here. Sure did, and he knows his stuff on that.
No doubt about that.
Yeah, he sure does.
No doubt about it.
Has a good show. Glad to have him over. Been trying to get him for a while, and he finally gave in. And he didn't get to go over some of the other stuff that he had to do. You know, injector cleaning and that kind of thing with these engines and this gasoline we're burning, and with all this ethanol and stuff. Why it kind of gets them clogged up.
It does.
And they don't want to run right, you know, when it does that. And so that's some good points there for sure. Folks, something else I want to bring to your attention. We talked about the catfish anglers, the Bass Club's fishing, or the high school Bass Club fishing seminar went off this past weekend. I couldn't be in 2 places at once, naturally, so I did get some info from some of those people that attended. They had over 100 people attend that seminar down there, and Ott DeVoe, Wesley Strader, and Brandon Card was there, and you know, those 3 pros were there, and then I don't know how many bass clubs did show up. There was a lot committed, but I heard they had a pretty good turnout for that. And if you got to attend and you're watching my show, call in over here and fill us in right quick on how that thing turned out and what went on. I'd already promised Marty Carpenter that I'd be down at the Caney Creek, or I would have been there myself and got some film. I hated I missed it, but you know, like I said, get me some info from it, and be glad to pass it along. But did have something going on with that, and you know, Thanksgiving is right here upon us, and Carm, you know, was trying to make up the Thanksgiving baskets. So if you can help in that situation, and then don't forget about the coats for the cold. We talked about that last 2 or 3 shows. You know, you can drop those coats off at any of the Carm stores, and then the Prestige cleaners. So you know, I can't say anything else about it, Mike, because I'm just thinking about people needing a coat and don't have one.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, but don't forget that, folks. Help Carm all you can, and because they're doing everything they can to help the people in need in the community, and we definitely want to make sure we remember them for sure. Let's see. There was a couple of other things I told folks we'd talk about. Mike, let me see. Yeah, don't forget Mountain Pizza. You know, they got the karaoke on Saturday night, and the big little kids meal on Thursdays, and then on Monday nights they got the family night where you can eat in for $7.99 on the let's see, the garlic sticks and the spaghetti and all that kind of stuff, and or the breadsticks, excuse me, and the spaghetti with the garlic and garlic sticks and salad and the fountain drink. So remember those things there at Mountain Pizza, for sure. And Jim, where you at? Edgemore Outdoors, folks. Jim's got the fishing reels over there, and I mean, that's not, he's got all kinds of fishing reels, let me tell you. The cabinets are full, Mike.
No doubt.
And shoot, I had 2 picked out, but I walked around to the other end of the cabinet and had cut the camera off, and we were standing there talking, and I got to looking at another brand, the old Kuma's there, and I thought, I hope that's Jim right now. Anyway, I couldn't make up my mind. I done had him put 2 back, and I said, just take them back out and put them in the shelf, and I said, I'll be back. Hello, caller.
Yes, I was going to ask you a question. I'm not much on bass fishing, but I like to crappie fish, and on a couple of shows, maybe 3 or 4 shows back, you said you caught some walleye around Emory and State Plant. Were they legal size?
No, I don't know that, but I'm just about guaranteeing you they were. I didn't put them on the measuring board because we just chunked them back in the water just about as quick as we could get them off the hook.
Yeah.
But if they weren't legal size, they were real close.
How many do you say they dumped in down there?
450,000.
Yeah. I enjoyed your show. I watch it every week, and I'll be calling back later. Appreciate the information.
Hey, buddy, I appreciate you calling in. Glad you liked the show. Keep calling in, letting us know if you hear of anything good. Let us know back, will you?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Mike, it's not going to be long before them 450,000 walleye is going to be eaten size.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and there's a few already in that lake to start with. They're just kind of hard to find. You know, we're going to keep after them. I can't wait till they do get, and you know, I'm hoping that they'll reproduce and that 450,000 turns into couple of million.
Yeah.
They're pretty dang quick. We got the Emory River there to go in, and the Clinch River, and so the cool water's there. And you know that caller, I'll tell you this: we were over to Tellico on the 13th of November over there at the Yacht Club doing some filming with Bill Nichols. And those guys over there were telling us about all the walleye that they were catching there this year out of Tellico. And normally, you know, their story was this: when they'd go walleye fishing, they would run up to Harrison Chilhowie Dam, way up the river, or go up there and put in because the water was colder. Well, now they're catching those walleye all the way down there below the Yacht Club there on Tellico, and the reason being is because all the water flow that's been coming out of Fontana and Harrison Chilhowie and one on down the river system pushed the walleye downstream. And so now they're down there catching them around the Yacht Club.
Yes.
So, you know, that has an effect on what's going on. This current does. It sure. So, you know, we were glad to hear that, but we just picked that information up over a couple of weeks ago, and I thought I'd pass it along to you. So you might want to
cooler water, biggest thing.
The cooler water, exactly right. So you might want to go over there and try that place out right there, or in that vicinity anyway. But we did pick that information up before on the 13th of this month. We were over there that night at their bass club meetings, where it came from. So Herschel says we're getting close to running out of time. I will tell you this, while it's on my mind, we're working on getting back on the YouTube so we can get the show out to anybody and everybody. I'm working with Herschel and Brad over here at the studio, and we're trying to get this thing back on the air on YouTube, and all the shows will be going out on that hopefully here in the next few days. And I don't know, we probably won't catch up but a few weeks back, but for everything from here forward hopefully be on YouTube. And I got relatives in Atlanta and Mississippi and everywhere else that's wanting to watch the show, so we can get good information out to a lot more people.
No doubt, no doubt. Get these kids involved, and it's the main thing.
That's the main thing right there, Mike. That's a good point. The thing about being on YouTube, Mike, the pressure will be on. You can't have camera trouble, and you've got to catch fish. So I don't know. You're gonna have to practice more, I guess.
I'm just a net man.
Just a net man. All right, Herschel. How much time we got? 3.5. All right. I wanted to pass that along to you. So if your buddies can't watch the show, then tell him just hold on. It's coming to YouTube here real quick, and hopefully he can get it on his computer or his smartphone. And these smartphones, everybody's got one but me, or I've got one, but knowing how to use it's another thing.
Yeah.
Mike, it's that's the deal right there. I'm lucky to get the weather off of it, let alone anything else.
Better than me. Every time I touch it, it goes out.
Yeah, that's the way I am. I'll shoot. I go to move my thumb across the front of it, and it deletes or hangs up or whatever I'm trying to do. So it's we're just kind of the wrong generation, but we're learning, I guess. Folks, I do want to tell you all to have a happy and a safe Thanksgiving myself, and I want you to continue to watch the show, call in. Give us some good information. If you got anything, call her if you catch some fish there a minute ago. Don't forget about the photo of the month there. Get me a picture and get you a T-shirt. And what was that? Randy McMillan, the boy's going to take me over at Teleco. I hope he's getting to watch. Blow Loud and Dam. Blow Loud and Dam, yeah. So the water temperature's down in the 50s, so maybe by next month he and I can make that trip over there. Catch some sauger and well, he said he's liable to catch anything, and I agree with him. Yeah. Without a doubt. So
maybe again like it was last year, all these bait stores run out of minnows because everybody's going crappie fishing.
Yeah, well that's true too. It's hard to find minnows last year in a place or two. They couldn't, I don't know what happened, but we had trouble finding them, didn't we?
Yeah, so many people going crappie fishing.
So many people going crappie. Now, Jim told me he had a bait that'd beat a minnow. He's got them over there at Edgemore Outdoors, and he said, I'm afraid my minnow business is going to go bad because of all these baits I got right here are probably outfish a minnow. I said, Jim, he said, yeah. So I said, I'll tell you what, we'll give them a good test and see. But we got to get some fish in the freezer. My wife told me we're out, and I got to have some crappie. So we may try to make a trip after Thanksgiving, Mike.
No doubt, no doubt.
And get some minnows and get down on them crappie and see if we can't catch them. And I like to catch them on a grub too myself. But we'll give them a shot. Folks, have a good, safe, and Thanksgiving, and God bless you. Hope to see you December the 5th. Remember, December the 5th, we'll be back. We'll show you a rerun next week. And Herschel, anytime you need to cut us off, cut us off.